What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Super Gamer Boys. I'm your host, Colonel and Dad, Garrett Morlang, and here in the virtual studio with me is the king of video games and still resident superstar, Adrian Holmes. What's up, Adrian?
Good evening, Garrett. I did not mention this because I wanted it to be a surprise. So you guys just keep going with the intro as usual. I have a friend who's in town from way far away. So I'll go get him. Just keep going.
Is it the mailman from JJ's town?
No, it's not. But it's
now they know each other, Garrett.
Just go ahead.
Now they know each other, Garrett. Really?
Right. Also joining us here in the virtual studio tonight is the heavyweight podcasting champion of the world, JJ Purdom.
Well, thank you, my good friend. I appreciate it. If he goes to get a sock puppet or something like that, like I'm all in. I want it to happen. I kind of feel like it needs to happen now.
Yeah, I'm real curious what he's going to come back with. But it's nice to have you back. It's been a little bit. You know, you've been just doing your thing over there, just neglecting
Midwest
Super Gamer Boys as usual. So
Midwest is known as like a very busy locale. So like it's go
Right.
all the time.
Yeah. Ahoy, mateys. I don't know if you heard, but the eShops have closed today.
Oh, wow. Captain Holmes, didn't expect to see you here.
It is I, sailing in from seas away to celebrate the closing of the WiiU and 3DS eShops.
Captain Holmes is wearing the eye patch all jacked up.
It's perfect.
He's cutting off circulation on his
It's perfect.
It's the best I can find in Party City.
That's how Snake wears it.
Yarr. It'd be nice to meet you both.
Nice to meet you too, and I'll be seeing you soon, I'm sure.
Aye.
All right. If you haven't heard, today we're actually going to be talking about the closing of the Nintendo Wii U and 3DS eShops, the nitty gritty, but that's not it. The gritty new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game.
Don't worry, I'll take it over from here. Sorry, go ahead.
All right. Oh, yeah. Thanks for coming back. That was nice to see him. It's been a while.
Yeah, he's a cool dude, right?
Yeah. I'm sure we'll be doing some business with him in the future, near future here, I'm sure.
It smells like fish sticks in here now. I don't know if you guys can smell it.
Look, man, he's on a
John.
boat for long periods of time. You know, sometimes there's only fish to eat. I get it.
But today we're talking about the gritty new TMNT game, Spider-Man 2's possible release date. As I mentioned a second ago, Nintendo Wii U and 3DS eShop shut down, and how Ubisoft is no longer attending E3. As we predicted correctly, I may add. But let's give a quick shout out to our Patreon producers, producers. Why am I talking funny? I've been awake since 2 a.m. Pacific time because I flew from Nashville today, so that's why. Let's give a quick shout out to our Patreon producers, Bumble Smash, Eddie Martin, and Kajoma01, and our Super Gamer sponsors, Julie Bates and Mama Mare. If you want to be awesome just like those folks, head over to patreon.com/supergamerboys to support us starting at just $1 a month. You can get episodes early and ad-free, such as this show and Adrian's show he hosts, Super Gamer Book Club. Right now, the new episode up is Hi-Fi Rush with DJ Trues. The free episode, if you're on the fence about supporting us, and you're like, let me check out this extra show. Is it really worth it? It is. And if you really want to, I would say this is like the heavy hitter episode, only because this is Adrian's pride and joy. That's right. The Kingdom Hearts episode featuring KK Ryder and Angel.
A classic.
They're all fantastic, but this is the one that Adrian has been waiting for years for me to do. And I finally did it. We did it. And it was honestly a blast. So go check that out on podcast services. Search for Super Gamer Book Club or over at youtube.com/supergamerboys. Upcoming, actually this week, this Friday, I guess, as long as we can get the recording straight on Wednesday, I believe we're recording.
I mean, if you need an extra day, we can do that.
I've already come to terms that I probably won't finish it. I played so much this weekend. Like my events because I was on a work trip. The work happened from like 6 a.m. each morning to about 12 to 1 o'clock. So like 6 to 1 most days. And then the afternoon and evening, I had to myself to do whatever. And I basically just went back to the hotel room and played my Steam Deck for hours. And
hey, don't talk. This is a family show. Don't talk about that.
Deck E.
Steam Deck.
Oh, you mean
deck.
the handheld?
Like a porch. Like a porch.
Oh my god. That was uncomfortable. I'm so sorry, dude. I thought you were talking about like greasing your hog.
No.
You know.
But I played it. So I don't know. We'll see. I still have a couple days left. I have tonight. I have tomorrow. Maybe I'll finish it. But either way, we're talking about it. Either way, we're talking about a Wednesday, and that'll be coming out this Friday. I've played plenty to talk about it. That's for sure. I played a lot to talk about it. We'll talk more about our Patreon later in the show, though. One last thing here. Let's give a quick shout out to Jack Sriracha and Yate for allowing us to use their music on our show. Please go show them support and love by listening over on Apple Music and Spotify. Links are in the show description on YouTube and podcast services. Make sure to click those links. Give them a listen. They are fantastic. And we really appreciate the love. Funny thing, actually, we've been starting to get content claimed on YouTube for Yate and Jack Sriracha stuff. Really? It always gets worked out. I just send the message because you can dispute. I always dispute it. It's like, hey, like, they're our friends, and we've chatted with them. It's all good, and then it immediately goes away. But it's just funny, like that's never happened before. And all of a sudden,
we have to have them like write us up a thing, like a permission
maybe
slip,
I don't. Yeah,
so
I don't know
if
I don't know if we need to like get whitelisted on or something on their end or whatever, but it was just funny. I was like, this has never happened before. Now we're getting claimed. But again, it's like within 24 hours, it's gone. So please go check out their music, though. Fantastic stuff. All right. That's all I got for the housekeeping here. Now it's time to check the mail. All right. So where the story left off last week, JJ, like the dummy he is, left the mailbag at a customer's house. It was infested with bed bugs, and we asked you last week. I don't know if you remember. I sent you that text that, hey, dude, you either need to get that cleaned, sanitized, and bed bug free, or you need to replace it. Were you able to replace it and or get that cleaned up?
I was able to get it cleaned up. There's a product called Crossfire. Crossfire, it's an aerosol can, works incredible for bed bugs and for body lice. So if you've got that genital thing going on, not technically supposed to use it on your body, but it works really well.
Pretty sure. Do not use this stuff on your body, or you probably will die.
That's a medical
or get
issue,
cancer.
And you probably need to go to a doctor. But no, it works really well. I went ahead and took care of it, and it should be clean. In fact, I did end up sending it to your house, Garrett. But unfortunately, it's one of those things where I didn't have the money on me to pay.
You didn't overnight it, dude?
No, so here's the deal. You're going to have to sign for that and then also pay, unfortunately.
Overnighting packages in this economy?
So not only did you like UPS ground it, so it's going to take 2 weeks, but you also like push the onus on me, so I have to pay for it?
No, there was actually a slightly cheaper option that was sent by Camel. And so that's the option I chose. Because
I see.
I realize that Trudy doesn't want to like part with any of your millions, to let you do anything. So...
Okay.
I was being thoughtful.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Also, real quick here, we don't normally do this, but first time chatter here on Twitch. Remember, you can watch us record the episode live on Monday nights at twitch.tv/thesupergamerboys. Shout out to Vickers Medium for dropping in. I've been watching his miniature painting streams. He's a fantastic painter, and he also plays, what's it called? Star Citizen? I don't know, some role-playing game with spaceships.
Oh, the game that's been in development for 3 decades now?
Exactly, that one. And it looks crazy. Like I was watching him play it one day, like, what the heck? Like I knew this existed, but I didn't know what the game was. And then I watched him. I'm like, this game's wild.
Yeah.
But welcome in, dude. All right. First question of the show here comes from Sweats. He writes in, I'm playing through Kingdom Hearts 3, Final Fantasy 15, and Final Fantasy 10 all at the same time. That just seems like a
maniac.
A wild playlist. That's a wild playlist. Yeah.
I'm just playing through about 300 hours a game. No big deal.
But my competitive spirit keeps bringing me back to shooters. Because if I have a free night, I cannot resist the urge to jump into a match and tell someone how ass they are. Nothing fills me with more joy. All right, here's this first question. Why am I like this? And then 2, what is the one game right now that if you had a week to not work, ignore your kids, not even take a bathroom break, what game would you 100%, and it must be 100% run, what would that be? He says mine would be Elden Ring. Yet to play it because I know it would end in a divorce. So he's wondering, one, why is he so addicted to Call of Duty, basically? And 2, what is that one game where if you had no responsibility, you could just kick it? Don't have to worry about eating. Just play video games for a week. What would it be?
Answer to the first question, if I could. So I would say, Swetch, the reason that you're like that is a couple of reasons. More than likely, your mom didn't hug you enough as a child.
Yeah.
Or the exact opposite. She hugged you far too much.
Hugged you too much.
And it's one of those two things, and there's really no in between. So don't at me or nothing. But I'm pretty sure it's one of those two. So
okay. All right. Well, that answers that. What about number 2? Is there a game that you
oh no,
pick?
come back around to me because I've got an answer for that too. But
I'll just go ahead and answer for him. It's Little Nightmares.
Yeah, we all know
I was gonna say Little Nightmares too, but whatever. But what do I know? Okay. You guys know all my secrets.
I know you play more than Little Nightmares. Come on now.
Yeah, Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh, okay, that'd be a good one.
Those are the only the 3 games he plays.
No, yeah, you guys say that, and later on in the what you playing, you guys are going to be shocked.
Okay.
All right. What game is going to lie about this week?
Well, I mean, I didn't say it was going to be the truth.
He's a good man.
I didn't say it was going to be the truth. No, it more than likely will be a lie, but still, pretty good one.
All right. He's a good, honest liar. What's your game, Adrian?
So first off, the reason is because you are a masochist. You like pain. You like being in difficult situations. I've never heard of a person that's been playing like 3 different JRPGs, multi-100-hour JRPGs at the same time. Especially Final Fantasies. Those 2 play so different. I don't know how you're keeping them straight. So yeah, that adds up. Like the reason you're so addicted to going back to shooters is the same reason that you're playing 3 enormous JRPGs right now. So yeah, you're just a wild man. Yeah, you're a glutton for punishment. And my game would be in recent memory, Fire Emblem 3 Houses. I would love to be able to 100% that. Each campaign, unfortunately, is like 60 hours, and there's 3 of them. So, yeah, that would be literally an entire week's worth of game playing if I have to factor in sleep and eating. But still,
crazy. For me, it's Death Stranding. I mean, I'm not even going to pretend it's not. Like, if I could just sit down for a week and just do all the deliveries. I'm on the Death Stranding subreddit, and it just gets me so excited every time I see anyone who's like, put hundreds of hours, like completed every delivery in the game, maxed out your relationship stars with every like delivery, like character and stuff. Like, I wish I could do that. I wish I had that time to just sit down and unlock everything in the game. Like, there's equipment in the game that people like talk about or like have unlocked I didn't even know existed. Like, it's crazy. It blows my mind. And I put a lot of time into the first time I played through it, but I didn't there's so much. I'm like, I didn't realize you can get like different colored this or that, the other thing, or like unlock all this crazy stuff. So
yeah, I wish you had some way
that would be it.
That, wherever you were, you'd be able to play it. You could chip away at it. If there was just some device that you could, just load it up on and take with you.
Oh, right. Garrett, you could probably play with your deck.
I could.
I
could play with my deck.
I think if you play with your deck, it might work like that.
Yeah. I should try that. To be honest, this is going to surprise both of you, and probably everyone listening. You
don't actually have a deck. We've been thinking that for a long time, Garrett. I know, Garrett. To be perfectly honest,
that was a good one.
Adrian and I have had that conversation.
I have yet to fire up Death Stranding on the Steam Deck.
What? I thought that
not
would have been
even-
the first thing you played.
No, the first thing was, I don't even remember what the first thing was, but it has not been Death Stranding. I've played everything else on there. I've been deep into Hollow Knight. That's the other thing. This weekend I played a crap ton of Vice City and a crap ton of Hollow Knight. And then I fired up Cyberpunk for like 5 minutes because it runs.
Did you hear Eddie?
Oh shoot. I said it. Did I say it too many times? Did I summon him?
It's
I
three
thought I heard-
times. It's three
I thought I heard
times.
somebody outside my window talking about Major League Baseball, but
Oh, so good. JJ, have you thought of anything that you would want to play for a week?
No, I did, for real. If I could just keep going through one game without being interrupted again and try to 100%, it would be Last of Us. You know, I always end up, I played it through 2 times, and I kind of really like the idea of playing the new updated version of it, that remake version of Last of Us, the original. And I would love to just be able to go through part 1 and just really try to 100% it and just take my time and try to enjoy it and to not be interrupted by anybody or say turn it off because it's too scary, you know, or whatever. It's hard when you have young kids to play horror games. And so that's why I just tell them to go to bed at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you know?
Yeah, there you go. That's one way to do it. That's a totally normal thing to do.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
I'm just kidding. They go to bed at midnight. That's why I never play video games. So,
all right. Elden Ring's a really good choice too. I like his choice of Elden Ring but you know, it'd definitely be Death Stranding because it's me. You know,
you cannot.
I can't not. I just can't resist. This next question, last question actually. We only have 2 this week. Well, technically 3. Sweats asked 2 questions.
Yeah, that's true.
Sir Prince-a-Lot asked, just watched Top Gun Maverick this weekend, and it's such an awesome, uplifting, team-building movie. If you 3 had call signs, for example, Maverick, Goose, Iceman, etc., what would they be, and why is JJ's Roach?
you can't beat that. That's fantastic.
It is.
I love
perfect.
It.
I mean,
I would keep it. I really like that. Thank you, Prince-a-Lot. That's awesome.
I mean, it fits your profession and your personality.
It's pretty deep.
Garrett's call sign would be BB.
BB.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. What would Adrian's be? I mean, if we're just going with the whole...
Mine will be Paopu.
Paopu? Okay. Mm-hmm. Is that the Paopu fruit from Kingdom Hearts? Is that what that is? Okay. That's what I was going to say. I was like, since we're doing like the whole video game theme thing, I was like, it has to be Kingdom Hearts. And you like nailed it in one. That's awesome. But really, like what, if we were to pick one for JJ, like in a video game theme, like we've done with R2, like what, I mean, what, you were big in the Red Dead. Is there something from like Red Dead we can pull? What's the name? What's the one, frick, what's that one dude's name?
Dutch?
Yeah, I think you call him Dutch.
Is a great one.
Sick one. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
And it's also because I am kind of like an evil genius. So.
Oh yes, of course.
Yeah, that kind of works. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, there we go. Dutch, BB, and Paopu.
These are actually really good.
It is, honestly. We'd make a sick. Let's join the Air Force, guys.
All right, well, pump the brakes now.
Yeah, I'm afraid of heights. I don't really like to fly personally.
We can play a little SOCOM. How about that? That'll be the extent.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Ace Combat. Let's jump into some Ace Combat. Oh man. All right. Well, that is it for the questions this week. Remember, if you want to keep that mailbag segment rolling, we need some questions from you guys. So you can send us a DM on any social media service with your questions for the show, video game related or not. Or the best place, honestly, to send questions is also over at supergamerboys.com/Discord to join our Discord server. It's completely free and open. Join us over there, and then you can chat with us during the week about what you're playing, what you're watching, discuss the episode, and like I said, leave those questions there. All right. It's now time for the Nerdy Nudes.
It's now time for the Nerdy Nudes.
Ooh, a little extra flair on the back
I was
end.
gonna say that was a little.
Woo!
Something happened there.
Yeah.
You put a little Ric Flair on that, didn't you?
You going through puberty? Just hitting puberty over there.
Yeah. Well, it's because I just had that talk with my son. You know the talk, guys.
Talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we had a 3-hour trip in the car, and it was determined that this was the best opportunity to have that conversation.
Now, son.
And yeah, I said,
sometimes
look here,
you might
boy.
feel like playing your Steam Deck.
Yep. And I said, and unlike Garrett, I know you got one because I was there when you got it. You know what I mean? And Garrett, I'm using the word deck instead of penis.
I get it.
See what I did? Okay.
I see it.
That's where the joke is. It's saying, okay. So I have the talk with him and I'm explaining, and like every 30 seconds he's taking a sip off of a drink, like very uncomfortable and like staring straight ahead. And I'm like, are you uncomfortable? I mean, you can ask me questions. Do you have any questions? And he's like, and he just take a drink. No, shake his head, no, and then take a little drink. And I'm like, oh, he's so uncomfortable. And then eventually it turned around to where he had a lot of information that I didn't know. And like, so I started taking notes and I was like, where did you hear that? Oh, crazy. So, I mean, I learned a lot. It was a good trip. And I feel like at the end of the day, like I came away better for it. You know?
Oh, good. At least there was growth on some side of the conversation here.
I feel like there was a segment there where if he could have been anywhere else on planet Earth.
So I asked him, I said, do you have questions for the thing? Or do you have questions about this at all? I mean, anything? Or you feel like this is a safe space? Or, I mean, do you feel comfortable? And he's like, the second one. I was like, okay. Yeah, I don't know.
You can't even say the words.
Don't know how to make it better. Yeah, he's like, I got nothing, Dad, you know.
Oh, man.
Just stop talking, Pop. I'm good.
Yeah. And it did get weird because then I had the pictures that so I was asked later, like, how did it go? And I'm like, I don't know. It got really weird when I started showing them the photos and stuff like that. And they were like, what? And I'm like, no, it was perfectly fine. You know, he did wonderful with it.
I've got those same photos right here. You see, it's right here. Are these the ones that you showed him?
That's the ones that I showed him, just like that.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Those are pretty explicit.
Yep, that's true. The ESRB, have they voted on that? Like, have they rated it?
I mean, they don't rate hardware yet, so.
Oh, okay.
You know.
Yet. All right, let's get into these news stories here. We got this first news story coming from Polygon, written by Michael McWhirter over there. Beloved TMNT graphic novel The Last Ronin is becoming a video game. That's right, a new, very different style of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game is currently in development, an adaptation of The Last Ronin, the 2020 graphic novel that told a grim, futuristic story about the Turtles. Like the comic, The Last Ronin video game adaptation will be a darker, more mature take on the typically colorful Ninja Turtles, according to Doug Rosen, Senior Vice President for Games and Emerging Media at Paramount Global, the rights holders for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. In an interview with Polygon last week, Rosen likened the upcoming third-person action role-playing game to Sony's recent God of War titles, and said it will be authentic to the story of the Last Ronin arc, which is set in a future where only one of the Turtles has survived. While other TMNT games like last year's Shredder's Revenge are typically about playing as all four Turtles and sometimes their allies Splinter, April O'Neil, and Casey Jones, The Last Ronin will be primarily a single-character game. Though Rosen posited that other characters could be playable in flashback sequences similar to how the comic series plays out, the primary action is said to center on the only surviving turtle. The identity of that lone remaining Ninja Turtle was something of a mystery when the Last Ronin comic series was announced. The arc story was built around a Ninja Turtle who wore a black mask and fought using all four Turtles' signature weapons: nunchaku, sai, bow, staff, and dual katanas. It wasn't until the final pages of the first issue of The Last Ronin.
Don't spoil it if they say it.
They are about to say it, and they do say it, so I will not spoil it. The remaining Turtles, Master Splinter, have all been exterminated. This is just gonna go. I'm not gonna carry on because it's just spoiling the whole thing. But so go read it. But there's a new video game coming out. Like the Last Ronin comic book series, a video game will target an older audience, just like the recent collaboration with Call of Duty that brings Shredder to Activision's shooter franchise. Is that true? Is Shredder in Call of Duty?
I have no idea.
I need to read Oh my gosh, Call of Duty is getting a Ninja Turtles crossover. Is this the new story?
Not enough. It's not enough.
We're not talking about this. We're not talking about Last Ronin anymore. We're talking about how Shredder is coming to Warzone Battle Royale spinoff.
Can we get the turtles in Fortnite already? What's going on? What's taking so long?
It does feel kind of weird that they're not in Fortnite right now, considering that that Fortnite Epic tends to grab every available IP that's like cool or hip or of the moment and brings it into the game. So it is kind of weird that the Turtles haven't been involved already.
Man, they're perfect for that.
Yeah, I've been really excited about this because I'm a huge Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fan from the early 90s. I absolutely loved the comic book, and I loved the cartoon, and of course the original game on the Nintendo Entertainment System was one of my favorite games of all time, and still very playable, like very playable.
Growing up, I wasn't. I the cartoon would come on, I'd watch it. I was never like super duper into it, but like when it came on, I'm like, oh, sick. Okay, if I happen to stumble upon it, I'm like, heck yeah, I'm watching this. But like playing Shredder's Revenge last year, like that game was so good.
It was
like that was so much fun. Man. So much fun playing that. We did like the full 4 or 5 players or whatever we did.
6-man lobby.
So, yeah, with the Super NPC Radio guys, that was fantastic. I'm really stoked about this. Honestly, just seeing the art, because so on all the articles they pretty much use the same image, and it's an image from the graphic novel.
Mm-hmm.
And just seeing that art, I'm like, oh yeah, of course I'm in. Like that looks incredible. Like if there was a game in that aesthetic, I am in. And especially as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, this sounds absolutely sick. So, and Adrian, you recommended that I need to go read that run before the show, and I was like,
as soon as possible, dude. I am alongside JJ. I'm a massive Turtles fan. I've watched pretty much every iteration that's come out. I've seen the movies. I had Ninja Turtles bed sheets and covers back when I was a youngin'. Like, I'm all about them. So when I found out that they were gonna actually they're gonna adapt this arc, I almost jumped out of my chair because of how I can see in my head how this game would play out. And I feel like I don't want anybody else to make this game except for maybe a couple of studios. Rocksteady being the first one, because they should have made this the entire time instead of Suicide Squad.
Old Rocksteady, yes.
This should have been the game that they were making, not Suicide Squad. Either them or, I mean, why not have Sony Santa Monica do it?
Yes.
They already have the tools in place. They have the team in place. They've shown they can do it.
Yeah.
But I really would want.
Though? Who owns the Turtle IP?
Paramount owns the movie rights
and the game rights. It's like it was like Paramount Global owns the rights for any games and emerging media. It's called
Nickelodeon owns animation rights. But yeah, I would love if somehow Suicide Squad crashes and burns, that this is what they use to pick up the pieces and get back to the Rocksteady we know and love, because I really feel like they would have knocked this out of the park.
Yeah, I feel like, sorry to interrupt you, Garrett, but I feel like Santa Monica would do a better job with this game. I know you're thinking the Batman games that Rocksteady did so well, but I'm seeing like Miles Morales and the original Spider-Man game that Santa Monica did, and I'm like, man, Insomniac. I just feel like
you're thinking Insomniac.
Why am I thinking Insomniac? Okay, I'm thinking
They're the ones that made it.
I apologize. So I'm thinking if Insomniac did it, it would be fantastic.
I could see that too.
I would really love to see Insomniac do it.
Yeah. It is interesting. Yeah, if you didn't notice, like in this article, they don't mention a studio at all. So it's just like, it's crazy that they're like developing a game without a developer, but they're doing it. They're like getting like the writing, I'm sure, going and stuff like that, and trying to figure out the direction. I
think this was to gauge interest.
Yeah, which I mean, it's been blowing up. Like people are stoked out of their minds. So I think that answers their question. Yeah, I think I'm right there with you. Like, if anyone, I wish it was Rocksteady. I really hope it's Rocksteady because just again, looking at what images I've looked up, like just from a quick Google search of Last Ronin, in like the images everyone's been using in the news articles, it's like it very much reminds me of that just heavy Batman feel, like still agile, but just like there's weight behind it, and that's what that's what the Arkham games had originally. Like like the Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, stuff like that. Like the combat was both fluid, but also had weight and heaviness to it. And I was like, oh man, like looking at the character that's in the graphic novel, if they're going to do kind of like a 1-to-1 recreation, I'm like, oh yeah, he looks like he should feel the same way Batman felt in those original Rocksteady games. So if they could do something like that. Man, like combat would be so sick. And like with Arkham City and stuff like that, they showed they can do a full city, like an open world, like run around. Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, if old Rocksteady could come on back and pick up the mantle and just like kill it with this, it'd be sick.
Imagine if this was that. Remember there was a rumor going around that they were apparently like talking about before I guess they started development on Suicide Squad that they were working on a Turtles game. If it would have been...
there's a lot of rumors, but yeah, I do remember that the Turtles game, like that. Man, how did they end up with Suicide Squad? How did they end up on
WB? What'd you say, JJ?
Can you guys put your finger on where Rocksteady went wrong? What it was in there since from the Arkham games to now? Like what changed? Is it the person running?
I don't think it was Rocksteady. I think it was WB. I think WB, like any other major publisher of AAA games, is just trying to make sure that they make a profit first. And the one thing that, the one thought process, which now we've shown that is in error, that people think is going to make a lot of money, is a live service game. And as we've seen in the past few weeks, they've been dying off, dropping like flies. So I feel like the live service genre, outside of maybe a couple of big games, is getting ready to dry up here. And unfortunately, Suicide Squad is probably going to be another casualty of that. So it's most likely a directive from WB, because this feels like, especially because it's set in Metropolis, it feels like it wanted to be a Superman game. And then they were told, no, it's got to be multiplayer. And they shifted over to Suicide Squad.
Yeah, because that was one of the rumors too. There was the rumor of a Turtles game, a Superman game, and possibly a Wonder Woman game. It was like, okay, which one of those three is it going to be? And it being none of them. But yeah, You're right. The fact that it's like takes place in Metropolis and not like anywhere else. I don't know. It could have been like a worldwide thing, a Justice League. It could have been like, or in Gotham, or literally anywhere. And it's like, okay, it's in Metropolis, and it's like there's some weird things like, oh, I wonder if it was going to be Superman. That's an interesting thought, like that you brought up there. Like, oh yeah, it could have been Superman, and they just switched it because ultimately, WB is the one holding the license, so they dictate kind of what Rocksteady is going to be able to do, really. But the other reason I would think Rocksteady should do this as well is because I imagine it's going to be multi-platform, where if it's Insomniac or Santa Monica, that makes it PlayStation exclusive. And PlayStation has the money to do that, but I don't think Paramount.
No, they don't, Garrett. Remember, they said they don't have any resources. They can't make any games. They don't have any exclusives. They're just a small independent development company and publisher.
I forgot. Yeah, you're right. They did say that. And that Microsoft was going to take over the world if they. Yeah,
they don't have any money to make games exclusive. What?
So stupid.
Didn't you hear Jim Ryan? He's just said this 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, Jim Ryan's a big dum-dum. I'll go ahead and say it. I'm sorry. Oh, man. But I can't see Paramount being willing to lose out on that money.
Absolutely not.
So, like, I could see PlayStation trying, being like, hey, here's a bid, and them just being like, no, we're going to make a crap ton of money putting it on everything. So that's why I think Rocksteady would have to do it, because then it could be multi-platform. Otherwise, it's locked to PlayStation. So, but we will see. We don't know much more. Also, I have the Amazon page up for Last Ronin. It's $19.69 for the hardcover, or apparently it's free if you have Comixology, Kindle Unlimited. I don't have Kindle Unlimited.
If you have Prime, then you should have it.
Oh, really?
I think so.
Oh. Dude, I do have Prime. Sick. Maybe I can read it for free. All right. Cool.
I mean, it's worth the money, but if you can get it for free, even better.
It's also $10 on Kindle just to buy it, too. That's
right.
not bad a price. And I can read on my iPad. All right. Anyways, you guys don't care about that. This next news story comes to us from Eurogamer. Insomniac Spider-Man 2 launching in September, says Venom actor Tony Todd. Breath still bated for more information on developer Insomniac's upcoming Marvel's Spider-Man 2. Well, it looks like we might now have a release month thanks to Venom actor Tony Todd, who almost certainly without official approval has claimed it'll be arriving this September. Todd, whose prolific career has included roles in the likes of Platoon, Candyman, and Final Destination, was announced to be voicing Venom in Spider-Man 2 back in September 2021. At the same time, Insomniac confirmed Yuri Lowenthal and Naji Jeter would be returning to voice Peter Parker and Miles Morales, respectively. Since then, official word on the sequel has been almost non-existent, but Insomniac did pop up in December following a bit of a leak by a writer on the project to confirm it was aiming to release Spider-Man 2 sometime in fall 2023. Now, through Tony Todd, though Tony Todd has taken to Twitter claiming Insomniac is more specifically looking to launch this September. Beneath a photo of himself in a motion capture rig, Todd responded to fans' enthusiastic tweet that Spider-Man 2 can't come quick enough by writing, "Looks like September, massive publicity coming in August, commercials start dropping in August, so I'm told, hold on to your ... and hold breath, gonna be necessary." While Todd is certainly well placed to be on the receiving end of accurate insider information regarding Marvel's Spider-Man 2, the actor clearly wasn't tweeting in an official capacity, and it's anyone's guess when Insomniac might be ready to share more. That doesn't mean you can't circle September in your diary, of course. You just might want to stick to pencil until we're sure.
So what I'm getting from this, I don't know if you guys are aware of this. I just wanted to impart a little knowledge. Insomniac is the ones who put out Spider-Man games. I just wanted you guys to know that.
Yeah,
okay,
no, I appreciate that.
Yeah, well,
yeah, thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah,
that makes sense. That makes sense. I could have swore it was Santa Monica. So
yeah, well, it's easy to get those confused. You know what I mean? They're very similar. They're in like the same country.
Insomniac, Santa Monica, they have S's in them. Same thing.
Correct. You see where I went there.
Yep, the phonics of it. We got you.
The other thing is, I would love to see a Candyman game because I'm a big fan of Tony Todd, and I love Candyman. I don't know if either of you guys ever watched the old horror movies.
I've seen the original, not the remake.
I haven't seen the remake either, but I loved him in the original. The guy is fantastic. I'm having a hard time picturing him as Venom. Like I don't know. Yeah. I figure I'm hearing his voice, and he has such a distinctive voice, and I can see it working pretty well. But as far as this game, the part 2, I really have been looking forward to it. I loved the original 2, with Miles Morales and with the original Spider-Man game. So I for one am really, really excited to play this one.
Heck yeah. Yeah, as far as the information, like,
what a
he has no reason to lie about that. But
he doesn't, but he also has no reason to talk about it either, or at least he should not have.
Yeah. But what I was going to say is, who knows how up to date that information is as well. Like, that could have been something he heard 6 months ago and just kind of regurgitated. Was it an intentional
leak, maybe?
And
where it's one of those intentional, like, they feed him and say, hey, let this information out, just to get people talking about it. I mean, it's not unheard of to do something like that.
No, but I mean, that's just generally not Sony's. Like, they play their cards pretty close to their chest normally. So it would be a different tactic from Sony, from PlayStation. But yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things where, like, I kind of believe him, but at the same time, yeah, like I was saying, like, this could be old information that he heard like 6 months ago in the recording booth, and he just kind of regurgitated it. He shouldn't have. Either way, he shouldn't have. But who knows? Maybe they're like, oh, actually, it's going to be more like December, but or something like that. Like, I don't know. So I would say, take it with a grain of salt. But I don't know how he kind of, I mean, he gave like a whole calendar of events here. Do you think because of this, so here's my question maybe to you, Adrian, is there any chance maybe they move this up now that there's been kind of like a weird little leak or something? Not the release date, but like he mentioned publicity happening in August. Maybe they move it up to like June since E3 is happening. Like, okay, they know it's coming. Maybe we have a trailer ready for E3 time, something like that. Or
I think they already had a small snippet ready for June, because there's a state of play in June, isn't there?
Yeah, and that's what I meant. I said E3, but I meant the state of play that they're doing, because they're not going to E3.
Right. So I think they had a small snippet ready for that, and then they were probably going to just pick it back up and like you were saying, like early August, late July at this point, to kind of get the ball steamrolling. If it was going to come out in September, which we still don't know, he could have, like you said, that could have been old info. But that would make the most sense, is to give a little tidbit and then say, check back later, for a more extended look or more information.
Yeah, I don't know, because he was originally saying publicity, like commercials, all that stuff dropping in August, but yeah, I'm starting to think like, oh shoot, he's done this now. I wonder if they're just going to start moving stuff up, like almost like we might as well, like the cat's out of the bag. So let's just get it out there, give people the official release date, show a fun little teaser trailer at State of Play, and then maybe in August, then you start getting like the longer like gameplay videos or something like that, like a full State of Play geared towards it, or a PlayStation blog or whatever they do. So I'd be interested to see if they kind of change their plans now because of this possibly accidental leak. Who knows?
Oh boy.
It's just surprising to me too. Like he's been in the industry a long time, doing both acting and voice acting. So it just seems like
he knows what an NDA is.
It's very shocking to me. Like, wow, this is a man with a lot of experience, and he just like let it go. It's like, oh man, I don't know. Maybe he misunderstood and thought that was already public knowledge or something.
Or he thought he was talking off the record and maybe forgot to say it. There's got to be a reason.
I don't know. He accidentally hit the tweet button. He typed it out and was like, oh shoot, delete, and instead he hit tweet. It just said it. Like, I don't know.
Or as Rick James told Charlie Murphy, Coke is a wonderful drug. You know what I mean?
Fair. I mean, we don't know what was involved. He could have had a sip before he started tweeting.
You never know. But yeah, so stay tuned for that. I hope it comes out that soon. It'd be great, because we got to get that out of the way, so then they can get going on Wolverine, right? Because they're doing Wolverine as well, right?
Right.
So, I know they probably have multiple teams, but if they can finish up Spider-Man and then get like double teaming on Wolverine and get that out sooner than later.
Have we seen anything other than the teaser for Wolverine? Like any actual?
No.
Yeah,
no.
We probably won't for a while either.
Really good teaser. Like really good.
Yeah. So good. All right. This next news story comes from The Verge, written by Emma Roth. Nintendo's Wii U and 3DS eShops shut down today.
Oh. I'll be right back. This is more in his territory. Let me go.
Okay. All right. Get home, Captain Holmes. Nintendo's Wii U and 3DS digital storefronts are shutting down today, March 27th, 2023 at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. While you'll no longer be able to purchase games or DLC from either eShop, you'll still be able to re-download the games you've already bought and play online for the time being. Nintendo first warned us of the shutdown last year and started barring users from loading money into the Wii U and 3DS eShops in August. Sadly, this imminent shutdown means we'll have to bid farewell to the hundreds of great digital-only titles available in either store, such as Dr. Luigi, Pokemon Rumble U, Pushmo, Pokemon Picross, and many others. The closure will also make it impossible to purchase the full range of Virtual Console games on the 3DS and Wii U.
Just
which I'll
okay. All right.
Oh, here he is. We got
Sorry.
Captain Holmes. Captain Holmes back in the house.
Yes. Apologize. Sorry, where were you?
Oh, we were just talking about how, the Virtual Console games on the 3DS and Wii U will also be impossible to purchase. And then, that was pretty much it. But, we kind of, it's a sad day that now basically Wii U and 3DS, like there's no way to play these games anymore unless you buy physical versions. I mean, digital games are gone forever. Physical versions, you got to pay scalper prices on eBay and game. That's right, scalper prices at GameStop because they're horrible. They're the worst.
It's for me. The real comedy is Captain Holmes moving around his microphone with the hook.
Nintendo. So you don't like making money anymore, eh? Huh? You don't like preservation? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We'll take care of it for you. As of 5:00 this afternoon, the high seas opened up. The eShop is open for business. If you didn't know, and you have a Wii U or a 3DS, it is very easy to mod them. Now, I may be dressed as my profession. I'm not going to say what it is so that we don't get in trouble. But just know that just because the shops have closed, that doesn't mean you can't still get the games. Aye, Morlang? Mr. Morlang?
Aye, Captain.
Aye. Please continue.
Yeah, so
I thought character work was my thing, but then here comes Captain Holmes just killing it.
I love it so much. Yeah, so so if you want to buy games through the eShop, you can no longer do it. But as Captain Holmes is kind of mentioning, there are still ways around it. And we've even talked about it on the show before. Like, let's not beat around the bush. We've talked about this previously. I don't know if you've listened to those episodes, Captain Holmes. But I assume you listen to all of our episodes. But
our signal's not very good on the seas. But I've heard from Adrian. Yes,
that
yes.
checks out. That checks out. But yeah, there are ways around it, and that's ultimately the saddest thing is comes down to game preservation, and that Nintendo just blatantly is like they don't care. They just don't care at all. I mean, and they've shown that over and over again. Like, this isn't the first time
they hate
keep
money
doing this. They hate money, and they hate their own games apparently, until they love money and love their games, and they remake them or re-release them on limited time schedules, like when they did the Super Mario Superstar Pack, where it was like 3 games, you could only buy it for 4 months, and they took it off the market.
Like, another foolish Nintendo decision.
Crazy stuff like that. So at this point, like, yeah, unless you want to pay crazy prices on eBay and stuff, and some of those games, fortunately, I was talking very negative before. They're not gone forever. Like, as Captain Holmes is saying, they are still online. There are places to get a hold of them. There are people who are preserving them, but I don't know. How do you guys feel? Like, shouldn't that be Nintendo's responsibility? Like, I feel like that should be like the publisher's responsibility to kind of like to protect those IPs and those games that have been released, right? Or am I totally wrong with that? Is it up to us, the consumer, and the museums and stuff like the Video Game Museum and Bay Area and stuff like that to take care of stuff like that?
No, it's up to the developers. I mean, they own a lot of intellectual property right now, and I think that they're leaving a whole lot of money on the table. And really, like, it's funny that Captain Holmes said this, and you kind of reiterated it, and I'll triple on top of that it's almost like they hate money. They have an opportunity. There's money that they're leaving on the table continuously when there's all these great games that, like, more people would buy. You just have to open up the window of offering those things. Like, why would you take that away from people who are still playing on the Wii U?
People still buy 3DSs. Like, I bought a 3DS just last year, was it? I bought some games on the eShop then, and I also might have happened upon some other games. And so it just like, it's just so bizarre to me. It's like, even though they're not technically like supporting it currently, there's still so many people getting their hands on a 3DS for the very first time, or a Wii U for the very, very first time. And it seems bizarre that they wouldn't want those new people to be able to like do anything on there. It's crazy.
I'm curious to find out your guys' thoughts on this. Do you see Nintendo ever going and taking games that were built for the 3DS and upgrading them like Sony does to some of its stuff that it came out on the PS3 era, and they're taking a remaking or building from the ground up, but essentially like taking the same games that are those popular games and kind of upgrading them or updating them for a new age, like maybe updating how they're played, like with the controls and the graphics and things of that nature.
So the problem with that be that kind of development costs money. Nintendo does not like spending money; they like making it. So you'd be essentially remaking the game, and that most likely will not happen. You see, when it comes to this, the big thing is, right, preservation of art should be the most important thing. So many developers over the years have poured their life's work, blood, sweat, and tears into these games. Some of them were so small that they weren't able to get physical cartridges made of those games. And now they will forever be lost because Nintendo has no way of making sure that this art is able to be preserved. And that is a very, very big problem. The other thing is that based on their current practices of the Nintendo Switch Online services, they clearly do not care as much about their older titles as they claim. There are so many titles left on the floor, on the cutting room floor for these systems that haven't been ported over. And why do you think that is? Money. They don't want to pay Square Enix. They don't want to pay Capcom. They don't want to get the entire library like they did back on the Wii generation because they know they can make more money by putting it all behind a paywall. They don't care about preservation. And that's why we're here today. Without a 3DS shop, without a Wii U shop. But don't you worry. I'm here for you.
I love how that entire... I'm so thankful Captain Holmes is here to deliver this just epic monologue.
All right.
On video game.
I sailed a long time celebrating today. Many a game have been set free.
Yeah, so, man, rest in peace, Nintendo, Wii U, and 3DS eShops. But you know what? They will live on forever through the excellent work done by Captain Holmes and his crew.
Yeah. 3DS forever. Wii U. Sure, why not?
Yeah, honestly, the Wii U is fine. I mean, there's only like 10 games on there.
It's still
anyway,
on. It still needs to be preserved.
Oh, man. All right. Well, that's all I got for that news story there. So
let me go and get the boy.
Get the boy back over here.
Thank you, gentlemen, for your time. I appreciate you letting me on. I know this was a surprise, but continue. You're doing good work from what I hear.
Ahoy, Captain.
Hopefully I don't have to be back after this Switch generation, but we'll see. All right.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you so much, sir.
No problem, boys.
Captain, sir. Oh man, that's just fantastic. I love, I've never actually met a real pirate in real life. This is the first time I've ever spoken with a real pirate, and I appreciate it.
When I first met you, I thought you were a butt pirate.
Okay, well, oh man, you're the worst. Anyways, moving on to the next news story here. Whew. Ubisoft. Oh, you're back. All
right, Captain. Take care. Eat some oranges. No scurvy, okay?
Do you know if he does he know Captain Crunch?
I'm not sure. I can probably send him a Seagull mail and see if he does.
You should see if he does. See if he can hook us up with some free Captain Crunch. That'd be sick. Get a sponsorship. Yeah, have Captain Holmes talk to Captain Crunch over there.
I'll see
not
what
all
I can
captains know each other, Garrett. That's kind of not really right. You know what I mean? You're probably gonna get some mail on that. Just saying.
All right.
And the captains know the mailmen.
And on that note, moving on.
The next news story here comes from VGC, written by Andy Robinson. They write, Ubisoft is no longer attending E3 2023 and will host its own event in June. Last month, the Assassin's Creed publisher became the first major company to publicly commit to attending the revamped E3. We talked about it here on the show. You can even go watch it. It was one of our very first SGB clips that we started releasing, which is due to take place in June at its traditional venue of the Los Angeles Convention Center. However, in a statement issued to VGC, the company said it has now decided to move in a different direction and will instead be holding its own Ubisoft Forward live event on June 12th in Los Angeles. E3 has fostered unforgettable moments across the industry throughout the years, a spokesperson told VGC. While we initially intended to have an official E3 presence, we've made the subsequent decision to move in a different direction. We'll be holding a Ubisoft Forward live event on 12th of June in Los Angeles. We look forward to sharing more details with our players very soon. E3 organizer ReedPop did not immediately respond to a request for comment. E3 2023, the flagship industry event, first physical show in years, is due to run from Tuesday, June 13th, and has been taken over from the Entertainment Software Association by ReedPop, the media and events company behind PAX, EGX, and Star Wars Celebration. Under the revamped format, the first 2 days of E3 will be reserved exclusively for businesses, while the remaining days will include consumer visitors. However, Ubisoft's decision to step away from E3 2023 means that, with 3 months to go, no major company has been announced as officially attending. The fact that the company had previously committed to attending also raises serious questions about the lineup for the revamped show. Yada yada, it goes on and on, but we kind of called it, right? Like we were like, okay, they're saying they're going, but they kind of seem on the fence a little bit. We're not surprised by this, right?
No, remember they were like, yeah, we'll be there if it's happening, and
right.
we'll keep an eye out and see. And
yeah,
lo and behold, they never intended to come.
Yeah. Oh, we didn't think E3 was actually going to happen. Oh,
right.
fancy. All right. Okay. Well, sorry, we're not coming. We're not coming. It's one of those things where they got invited to the party and we're hoping to get that call 30 minutes before they're meeting up with their friends to just find out, oh, hey, so-and-so's sick. We're not meeting tonight. Oh, cool. But really, they didn't want to go the whole time, but they were just like, taking their sweet old time, like hoping like, oh, okay, am I going to get that text? Am I going to get that text? They didn't get the text, so they had to be the guy and cancel on them. JJ, what were you about to say? What are your thoughts on E3 just completely backing out of E3, or Ubisoft backing out of E3 here?
We kind of saw this coming. They're not the only ones. I mean, everybody has kind of like been bailing on E3, and originally we were kind of excited about E3 happening again in a non-COVID era when, hey, it's going to be opened up, we're going to be able to have crowds there again, and it was kind of like a go-to thing. For a couple of years, E3 was so big, and originally when PlayStation pulled out of it, and then all of a sudden Nintendo and Xbox were able to take bigger portions of the show, and then eventually they decided, hey, we're all going to do our own thing, because why not? The focus is on us, and we're not having to share the spotlight with anybody else. I, for one, am not shocked at all. I wouldn't be surprised if E3 got canceled again, guys, because it seems like Ubisoft was one of the last big ones that was going to be there. Who else is there left?
Have we heard from Square Enix? Because they sometimes do a show, not a good one. Like if you look back at our YouTube archives at last year's E3, or not E3, last year's Summer Game Fest. The Square Enix one was horrendous, to say the least. But we haven't heard from them officially, correct? Or have we?
I mean, the only thing they would have to show would be Final Fantasy 16.
Right, which will probably be just at the PlayStation State of Play.
Right,
probably.
Right. That wouldn't be worth an entire setup for. So I'm going to most likely rule them out.
Yeah.
The only positive I can think about this is that this is going to put a lot more spotlight on AA and independent games, because there won't be all the big companies there to kind of soak up that limelight. So
yeah, but at that point, it's just another PAX.
Fair.
And we already have PAX East, PAX West, PAX, whatever the other one is that takes place in Texas. Like there's already like 3 or 4 PAXs that happen each year. Do we need a 5th one? Right?
And do you see people like using it as a destination spot without a Square Enix and a Ubisoft there, or PlayStation or Xbox or Nintendo? Do you see people that are going to put their money together to get tickets to fly out, or any of that kind of stuff.
I mean, industry people will be there, which is what it originally was designed for anyways. As far as like consumers, I could see consumers still going just to see what is this about. But I definitely don't think it's going to be as big as it would have been because so many people are backing out. Like, I'm sure if there's people there, oh man, people would be just breaking down the gates to get into to E3. But yeah, now that everyone's backing out, I'm like, I think it's going to be a really rough, small PAX essentially is what it's going to turn into. Because yeah, it's just... it's sad. It's really sad because E3, was this giant it was the conference each year, and now it's like, it's dead in the water. Not even gonna make it hardly to June, and it's already like gone. So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it just to me it just seems like okay at this point if it's just AA and indie games, it's just another PAX, and at that point, okay, we already have PAX. I went to their site now. PAX East, PAX West, PAX Australia, and then PAX Unplugged. So they already have like 4. Do we need?
Is PAX West happening this year?
I assume so. It happened last year. So
I haven't heard anything. So
they tend to announce it late for whatever reason. Like they wait until like closer to some like late spring, early summer before they start releasing dates. Because last year they did the same thing. Like I kept waiting because I was like, oh man, I'd be sick to go. And then by the time I checked for dates, it was like late, like maybe like July, and I was like, oh, they've already announced dates and like tickets were like gone. I'm like, okay, well, so they take their sweet old time. Yeah, I don't have much more to say about it other than I don't know. It's what okay, one last question here before we move on. Do you think this is indicative of what what Ubisoft showcase is going to be like? Like, do you think it could be something where they just don't have enough to show, so they feel weird about going to E3 when they don't have a lot to show off? Or do you think that's not it at all? They just simply don't want to go there? Like, because that's my concern as well. Is like, okay, maybe they're backing out E3 because they're like, oh shoot, like we could do a showcase, but we don't really have enough to be on like the main stage at E3. So maybe we should back out, and it's just going to be a small little Ubisoft, thing or whatever, something like that. Like, I don't know. Like, do you think there's any possibility of that where they just got nothing?
Ubisoft did an entire press conference or an event with Starlink and Just Dance. Okay? Yeah. They don't need anything to want to do an event. They'll do an event with next to nothing.
Remember Starlink? That was a thing.
Yes, I do.
That was a thing that
it was the best Star Fox game we've had in years.
Did not last long. That was a thing that had like the little toys too, right? You connect the toy to your controller.
And the only way to get an R-Wing.
Yeah, that's how you got the ship in the game. So yeah, they had like an attachment on your controller, and you attach the toy to the controller, and then it put it in the game or something. Wild. I never played it, but it just looked extremely interesting. That's for sure.
I can tell you that overall, it was okay. The Star Fox stuff was really the standout. It was really good, actually. Really well thought out.
That's so interesting that it was only on the Switch though, right?
That part, yeah. It was multi-plat, but the Star Fox stuff, of course, was only
you Nintendo. Couldn't get it on like PlayStation or something like that. But
right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I guess you're right. Like in the past, they've showed like they don't care. Like if they only have a couple things to show, they're only going to show a couple things. But with all the news we've had the last few months, like almost every month, them delaying or canceling games, like, yeah, I guess
maybe they're going to come out. This will be their new slate. They're going to show their new slate for everything.
Yeah, like I think we definitely see Assassin's Creed because supposedly Assassin's Creed Mirage is coming out this year. So we see at least one like a trailer or a talk about that. But like what's the Pirate Skull and Bones got delayed again for like the 10th time or whatever. Get canceled,
bro. It's been delayed like what 5-6 times.
A lot, yeah, at least 6, I think, if not more. Like it's a lot.
When it finally comes out, it's going to be it's going to be the version of Days Gone that we should have got. It's going to be like Days Gone. It's going to be incomplete,
buggy, janky at launch. Mm-hmm. Yeah, probably. I mean, The fact that they just keep restarting the game, like, oh, it's not good, so we're just going to start from the ground up. It's like, eventually you just got to put out a game, right?
You have to, right.
You can't just keep starting over, can you? I guess you can. That's a lot of money they're just throwing in a garbage disposal, though. Yeah. I don't know what Ubisoft has in store, and I don't think they do either. But we'll just have to stay tuned and find out what happens here on June 12th at their Ubisoft Forward Live event. All right, that's it for the nerdy nudes this week. We had 4 stories this week. That's right. For you, JJ, I know it's hard for you to count past 1.
Nerdy nudes XL.
We had 4. But
is
now
that what we do here now, Garrett? On this show, we bash our co-host. We just beat up and make fun of. I mean, dude, I'm blown away. We're supposed to be friends, man. You're being all negative. Wow.
I'm just tired. I was blaming on my tiredness. I've been upset.
Okay, then that works. No, because I do the same thing all the time when I'm bashing you for all the stuff I bash you about.
Right. All right, it's now time for our Patreon ad. That's right. This is the part of the show where I tell you to go over to patreon.com/supergamerboys and support us starting at just $1 a month. That's right, $1. You can get episodes early and ad-free, such as this show, immediately after we're done recording here. I edit it as fast as I can, get it out on the interwebs for you guys to listen to Monday night if you support us. $5 and up, you can. Oh, and also at $1 a month, you get the book club episodes 2 months early. So if you want to get those majorly early, support us over there. $5 a month, you get show notes, and you can know what we're going to be talking about. You can take a look at it, leave your own questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, anything on listener questions, on the news stories. You can tell us what you're playing, and we'll talk about all of it here on the show. So be sure, if you're currently supporting us at that level, check out those show notes when I post them each and every week. And if you're not supporting us, think about it and check it out. We'd love to add more of the listener flair to our show if we can. We already have listener questions, but it'd be fun to get more questions and comments and thoughts from you guys on stories and the like. $10 and above, you can be a Super Gamer sponsor, where you get a shout out each and every episode at the top of the show. And then the big dog tier, Patreon producer, where you can support us at $15 a month. You get all those previous perks, plus you can pitch us a segment. You can be our boss. You can be like, hey, I think you should do this. I think it'd be funny or cool or whatever. If you think it'd be a great addition to the show, go ahead and support us at that tier. Pitch us that segment. We'll workshop it together, see what we can do, see if we can finesse it into something that fits into the timeline of our show here. And you know what? It could be great, like Super Indie Boys, or it could be canceled, like Tall Tales of JJ. You never know. But go ahead and think about supporting us over there. We very, very much appreciate each and every one of those people who support us. A lot of their names are in the show description. That's another thing I forget to say, is from the $5 and up level, you also get your name in the show description. So those fantastic people are in the description below. There's plenty of you $1 supporters. We love you too. You guys are like the skeleton, the backbone, the main structure that holds it all together. And then we got all the big dogs on top, just sitting on you, real big and fat, you know. I don't know where I'm going with this.
Keep it rolling.
You can also support us over at twitch.tv/thesupergamerboys, right here where we're streaming Monday nights as we record live. If you have Amazon Prime, you can support us using your Twitch Prime Gaming sub. You can link those 2 accounts. Go ahead and drop that. It costs you $0. We get $5, and you get to use our sweet emotes all across the Twitchverse. So think about dropping your free sub over here. And remember, you got to do it each and every month. Normal subscriptions renew each month. Prime Gaming subs do not. So at the end of the month, we don't got that money. So remember, each and every month, let's just stop by, say hello, see what's going on. Drop that free sub. We very much appreciate it. Last but not least, we are supported or sponsored or partnered with, we're one of those things with W.GG.
Look, you can either pitch us a segment or you can pitch a tent. And that's what you're going to do if you go to Is it WEnergydrink.com?
W.GG. It's a lot simpler. You are overcomplicating things.
W.GG. Okay, here's the deal. This stuff is great at giving you energy. There's no crash. You're not going to drink like the Bang energy drink or a Monster or Rockstar. Drink that stuff. It tastes like ass. And then you basically, like, you're ramped up for about 5 minutes and then you need to take a nap, right? Well, that doesn't happen with W, okay? W is so good. They've got like grape grenade. There's one
grenade.
Mountain melon. That's one of my favorites. That's what I said. It's so good. But the thing that they're not telling you when you go to W.GG and type in Super Gamer Boys is the fact that it makes your, you know what I mean? It just gives you some blood flow, some extra energy where it counts.
Does not do
It's
that.
got the same active ingredient as Cialis, and it's not just your heart. It's not just your heart that's pumping. And I'm telling you right now, it's the same active ingredient as Cialis and Viagra.
Nope, definitely
Google
not. Definitely
Google
not.
that.
Nope.
Do it.
Yes, Google it, but you will see that it is not the same active ingredient. Pretty sure. But yeah, so if you're looking for a gluten-free, sugar-free, crash-free experience with your energy drink, think about giving W a try today. They even have starter packs where you get a couple sampler flavors and the shaker cup to mix it all up in. So think about checking it out and use our code SGB to get 10% off and help support the show.
And you can use that cup to catch the overflow because there's going to be some.
Okay. That's it for our ad. Let's move on to the show. All right, gentlemen, this is the part of the show where I ask you a question. So, JJ, what you playing?
And normally, each and every week, I go, I've been playing nothing. This week is a little bit different. I actually ended up purchasing Resident Evil 4.
Whoa!
And yeah, I jumped on the bandwagon because I'm a big RE fan. And I never actually played Resident Evil 4 when it was originally out on the GameCube. So this is my first foray into the story. And guys, I'm super impressed. I'm about a half hour in, so I haven't done much. But I had to pick it up over the weekend. And then I had some free time and played it yesterday as of this. And so the moment we get off of this thing, I'm probably going to go up and play a little bit more before I go to bed. But yeah, I love it.
JJ.
Don't lie to the people. Don't lie to the people.
I'm going to go to sleep.
You're falling asleep. You were falling asleep 20 minutes ago, dude.
Yeah. Until we got to the W energy drink. And then all of a sudden I felt like, you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm probably going to go right to sleep. Let's be honest.
But is it good so far? What little you've been able to play?
For
is
what
it
little
like
I've done, it's I will tell you that the tank controls from Resident Evil 1 and 2 were so bad and crappy, right? And with the most recent ones, they've been pretty good. I feel like there's something about the controls that is like that old style. And I don't know if it's my controller. I don't know if it's like my controller is going bad with some drift, but I'm feeling like when I was playing the game that it was like hard to turn around and felt like it was very, very much like those old tank controls. I say tank controls, but it just felt very wooden and not really natural. So could be that my controller is going bad. Again, I only played it for about 30 minutes or so. So I'll have to give it some more try. But the story so far is amazing. Like in just the first little bit, it's captivated me, and it's got that sweet level of scary that's like, okay, maybe I should turn on some more lights. So, you know. So, and I happen to notice that my friend Adrian also owns that game. I noticed that on PlayStation as well. That in fact, you're my only friend. You're my only friend, Adrian. But you're my only friend that has the game in my friends list, which I thought was kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's a new feature they just added the PS5 where you can see friends, like what friends own or play the game that you got. I really like that. Steam already had that, but it's really cool. PlayStation finally added it.
Yeah. JJ, I'm just curious. Have you played the RE2 and 3 remakes as well, or is 4 your first of the new line?
Oh, no. I played RE2 and RE3. Loved RE2. I'll tell you right now, RE2 was one of the best games I've ever played. Absolutely loved it. RE3 with Nemesis, it was a shorter game, and I felt like, and I did finish it as well, but there was just something missing for me with that game. It just felt like it felt empty in comparison to 2. 2 was so good that it was like I felt like they just kind of used the same skins and just kind of rushed out part 3, and it didn't feel different enough. And really, Nemesis just felt just like Mr. whatever his name was from part 2. You know, it just felt like very similar. You know, so yeah. Honestly, but no, I loved them.
I was just curious because I wanted to see where your gauge was at with the new remakes. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we got like a DX version of 3 or something like that, where it kind of fleshes it out and adds more to it, just because that seems to be the biggest complaint with 3 is not that it's badly made, it's just they cut a lot of it out.
Right. No,
so.
And please forgive me if it came across like I was saying it's poorly made.
No. I'm just no. I that's just the consensus. I was just trying to and it's interesting that without having, you know, I'm sure, I don't know if you've looked into what people are saying about RE3, but that's pretty much the same thing across the board, was that it was very short and that there are a lot of things in the original that weren't touched on that could have been put into the remake. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if a couple of years we get like an expanded version or something. So
now, have you played much of 4, Adrian? Have you played much of this game, or is it something where you haven't touched it yet?
I haven't touched it. I've played the heck out of the original. I have had the original on GameCube.
Can an argument be made that the original 4 was the best one?
Yes. You have that out of all up until I feel like people can make a case with 7 and 8 now. But up until that, it was the best of all of them. 4 was phenomenal. And then you were talking about the tank controls. I feel like RE4, the original, was one of the first to kind of start to do away with that. So I wish you would have played the original RE4, because you would have seen that they were already
the difference.
Yeah, they were already kind of evolving that. It's kind of switched to over the shoulder type of deal as far as the combat goes. There was a lot of overhauls with that game, and a lot of firsts that even games that don't even share the same genre or anything like that can take notes from this game, and have throughout gaming history. It's very influential. So, but I'm glad that you're playing it. Keep me updated. I want to hear what you think, especially with somebody who's never played the original. I would love to hear where your head's at. So
awesome. I will.
That's awesome. Adrian, what you playing?
So like you, Garrett, I was brushing up on a little bit of Vice City to kind of get my head in the game and kind of remember some things. It has been a very, very long time since I have played Vice City, and I have forgotten way more than I thought I did about that game. So it's gonna be you and me kind of fumbling our way through this one, because I'm gonna have to like do a quick cliff notes of what happens in the story. I have the overarching plot, I remember that, but the details are few and far between.
I mean, not to steal your thunder here, because I know it's your time to talk about what you're playing, but just to give you some peace of mind,
go ahead.
To give you some peace of mind for the upcoming episode, I've played like all the story except for, because I got to a point where I was like I said, I'd played a ton of it, and I was like, how much do I have left? I just need to like look at a walkthrough and see. I hadn't touched a walkthrough the whole time, and I'm like, I'm just gonna look because I just want to see how close I am to the end. I technically only have the last 2 story missions left. Like, all I have, like, I guess there's like, you're supposed to unlock like 6 assets which are technically like quote unquote like optional missions, but like you have to
talking
do
about like houses and
exactly, but you have to do
stuff like that.
You have to do at least 6 of those in order to unlock the last 2 story missions. So it's like I've done and again then I was like, okay, well, how long are the last 2 story missions? I looked at the last 2 story missions, like, oh, it's like 20 or 30 minutes from the end of the game. But the problem is I have like 4 hours worth of asset missions left to do, or 5 hours. I'm like, okay, well,
just look them up. Just look them up.
I was like, I'll just watch the last 20 minutes of the game or whatever, and then get the gist. So I've played basically all the story. I just want to say it to give you peace of mind, like, that I've played through all the story so far, other than just like the ending, which I was like, okay, if I need to, I'll just watch a YouTube video. I'm gonna try to finish it. Because I still have one more day to play it, but we'll see.
Because I'm like, it's been like 15 plus years since the last full on playthrough. So. Oh boy. So it's that and kind of fumbling around with the old Steam Deck here and there. Just kind of going back and forth between things and seeing the device, JJ, the device.
Oh,
the Steam Deck
that makes
device.
So much sense. Because this was not still the W energy drink.
Right. I know.
Yeah. Okay.
I can see where your logic comes in. But yeah, I'm still I'm still amazed every time that I boot something up that I'm like, man, how's this gonna run? And then it runs, really well. It's just like, man, technology, dude. I said the same thing with the Switch, and even in certain instances, the Switch is still like, I can't believe this is a full-on Mario game, like playing in HD on a handheld. Like if you took that back to somebody with a Game Boy in 1989, like,
blow their mind.
It's for sure, definitely, long in the tooth, the Switch, but I will never forget when that first came out and Zelda popped on the screen, or when I went to the Switch kind of like reveal event and I got to play Zelda a little bit before it came out.
Dang.
Mind blowing.
Absolutely. Cool. Well, I have been playing Vice City, obviously, for book club. Mm-hmm. And as I mentioned last week, I've played a little bit more of How to Say Goodbye. But what really sunk its teeth, and I think I mentioned this as well, but it's like God's claws in me, fangs right in my neck, like I am like in its absolutely violent and deadly grip. I cannot get out.
Are you talking about Schmallow Schmite?
Exactly. I have been playing Schmallow Schmite. And holy smokes, is it a freaking fantastic game. For years, I've had friends just gush about it and just how incredible it is. Eddie sings its praises from the rooftops. And I was just like, yeah, I know it's probably a good game, but it's too hard. And is it really that good? It can't be that good. It's just a 2D, like whatever. It doesn't look that interesting to watch or look at or whatever. Just what little I'd looked at, what little research I'd actually done, uneducated research there. Holy smoke. So I have put, I don't even know how many hours. So Steam says like almost like 30 hours, but it's because it's because the timer keeps going even in sleep mode. I figured out. I think that's my theory, because I was like, I don't think I actually played that much, because when you load up your save, it'll tell you. So next time I load up my save, I'll have to look and see what it actually is, my actually in-game save timer. But Steam has it at like 30 hours or almost or something like that. I'm like, holy smokes. I have been playing it a ton, and oh my gosh, yeah, I'm just loving it. The combat's incredible. The difficulty is ramping up, or it has ramped up, and so far it hasn't been too difficult, which is great. Like, I've definitely gotten the moments where I'm just beating my head against the wall and like, okay, just over and do this over and do this over. But inevitably, after a few tries, like sometimes after 3-4 tries, boom, I've been able to like beat the boss or get through whatever section it is. And it's so fulfilling. Same thing with like Elden Ring, playing through that. Whenever you get to a hard part and you get through it, and you're just like, heck yeah, it's good. But on top of that, Hollow Knight looks gorgeous. The art style is just phenomenal. The aesthetic, the sound design. Not only does it have a just gorgeous soundtrack that I could just listen to forever and ever, but the actual sound design of the worlds, holy cow! So I was in this one city area, and it's just like this soft piano music in the background in rain. It's just like this, like just the most perfect calming rain. And you're fighting these monsters, and it's like tense and stressful, but it's like there's this calming thing, like kind of like think of JJ to help you understand Little Nightmares. There's a couple sections where you go outside and it's just like that rain, like that type of thing where it's just like this downpouring rain, and you just sense like the dread and sadness, and oh man, this once great city is now just rubble, ruins, and just man, what once was is now not even a twinkle in anyone's eye. Like it's just gone forever and been gone for a long time. And then you go to other areas. What is it called? Fungus something or other. And it took me a while to even realize what it was, because I've been playing it on an airplane too. So for a while I was like, this is really funny. I thought it was the person sitting next to me, and then I realized it was in the game. In the fungus section, the whole thing is like there's this toxin in the air, which like is suffocating the creatures and causing them to like become like feral and evil and stuff like that. And in the like a few totally like ignore the music and everything and just hold still and stand there, you hear this like wheezing, breathing, this heavy like in the background of the game. And it's just like adds so much to, again, like the world building of this game. Like this is an area where you literally cannot breathe because of the poison, or you shouldn't be able to breathe because of this poison. And like to have like this heavy wheezing, this deep like with all of your might, like the last of your strength, trying to like breathe what little horrible air there is in this area. And it's like it's constant the whole time you're in this area. So I was sitting there for like hours, like on this plane ride, playing this game and just listening to this like sound like this dying man. I'm like, oh, and you're staring
daggers at your seatmate, like, will you stop?
Yeah. So it was funny. Yeah. The first time around, I was like, what is that? Like, what is wrong with them? And then I realized like, oh, like I use my AirPods up with my Steam Deck. I'm like, oh, I have like the isolation mode on, like the where like the noise canceling, like that's in the game. Like that's not my freaking, because funny story from my flight. There's a dude sitting next to me who is just wasted drunk. Like he was out drinking the night before in San Diego, and so he was not doing so hot on the flight, and he was sitting next to me on the way out to Nashville, who also it was a smoker. Like he like put on like 3 patches on the flight to Dallas, like he just slapping them on there. Like, boy, this poor guy. I felt so bad for him, but yeah. And so like it was one of those things like, man, he's really not doing good. And then I realized it was just the game. It wasn't actually him. But all that to say, Hollow Knight's a beautiful game with beautiful soundtrack, beautiful sound design, incredible combat. I love the way it controls. It is so fluid on the Steam Deck. Like it feels just perfect. Pixeled, perfect, fantastic. I wouldn't want it any other way, honestly. So go play Hollow Knight. Do yourself a favor. If you're not playing it, you're doing yourself a disservice. Even you, Eddie, get out there and try it. Give it a shot. I think you'll like it. All right. Well, that's all I've been playing. So let's get into the outro here. Thank you all so much for listening. We appreciate each and every one of you. All of you who watch on YouTube, listen on podcast services. We appreciate you who leave reviews on the podcast services. All of you who give us a thumbs up, leave a comment on YouTube. We love you all. You're fantastic. Please subscribe to the channel. We're slowly growing as we put out more and more content for you guys. We break these episodes down to SGB clips if you just want to see the news. We got Good Vibes with Garrett if you want to see some hobby stuff and hear me tell random stories about my life in the past. JJ is putting out his JJ reviews each and every week on YouTube Shorts, Instagram, and TikTok, and Facebook Reels. And then Adrian just put out a phenomenal Super Indie Boys about Toem, which the developers liked it on Twitter.
Yeah, I saw that.
Pretty dang cool. And it was retweeted by one of the fine folks who develop a game for the Playdate. So that's pretty cool. So go check out that episode. It is up right now on our YouTube channel. You get some sweet Super Indie Boys action over there. If you really love what we do and want to help support us in creating more and more stuff for you guys, head over to patreon.com/supergamerboys. Support us over there. Remember, you can start out just $1 a month, work your way up from there if you'd like, and get episodes early and ad-free. SGB store, if you want some t-shirts, if you want stickers, if you want mugs, coffee mugs, whatever you want, we got it over there. Rep your love for the SGB and share it with your friends. Buy them a t-shirt for their birthday, because that's what friends do. W.GG. Remember, you can use code SGB to get 10% off your order and help support the show. Shout out to Jack Sriracha and Yate for allowing us to use their music on our show. Remember, listen to them through Apple Music and Spotify. Links are in the show description below. And you can find us during the week at supergamerboys.com, Twitter and Instagram at supergamerboys. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at gmorlang. Adrian, where can they find you at?
You can find me any and everywhere at Homeboy.
And JJ, where can the fine folks find you?
Usually you'll find me at work, but if I'm not at work, you can usually find me on social media sites at JJ Purdom, Twitter and Instagram. And of course, you can always find me over at Suplex City Pod at youtube.com/@SuplexCityPod to talk pro wrestling each and every week. And of course, next weekend, WrestleMania 1 and 2, 1 night, 2 nights. It's going to be awesome.
Oh boy. All right. Well, that is all I got for you this week. JJ, can you take it away?
And with that, we're going to get off the air so Garrett can play with his deck. For Adrian Homeboy Holmes, for Garrett Morlang, and myself, JJ Purdom, the moral compass of the show, we are the Super Gamer Boys.
And we'll catch you on the flippity flop.
Rest in peace, 3DS, WiiU eShop.
I can't wait to see Captain Holmes back here again next episode.
Let's hope he doesn't ever have to come back. Right, Nintendo? Right, Nintendo?